Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to the November 2025 monthly update. If you're not familiar with this video, this is the video where we talk about board war games, new games that are in the house, games I've played over the past month. We also talk a little bit about PC war games and sometimes a little bit about general war games as well. We also have some board gaming, wargaming, deep thoughts conversations. This one will be on old games, SPI and Avalon Hill games. And at the end of the video, we'll give away our $50 store gift certificate to Noble Knight Games, who is the sponsor of this video. And speaking of Noble Knight Games, if you're not familiar who they are, they're a board game retailer in Wisconsin. They ship across the planet. They specialize in new and used war games, but they have all sorts of gaming supplies, miniature supplies, wargaming supplies, everything. They will also buy your used war games. But that's not the big news about Noble Knight Games. The big news about Noble Knight Games is that if you didn't see it already, they are having their Black Friday holiday annual sale. It is their biggest sale of the year. It's going on now. They doesn't quite say when it's going to end. It's somewhat of a mystery, but pretty much everything on their site is on discounts. It's the big one. So if you haven't checked out their site and looked for some games that you're looking for, this might be a good time to do so. Links are down below in the video description. And if you do use those links, thanks so much, as it does help out the channel very much. I appreciate everybody who's done that over the course of the year. So Noble Knight Games, big sale, go check it out. And with that, let's jump into our monthly update. Starting out with things I played, there is so much to talk about. Whereas September was a rather dismal month for things I played, October and this first half of November were absolutely fantastic. I want to start out with the big one, SDHistCon. This is SDHistCon Wrap. I went to, if you're not familiar with it, it is a small historical gaming conference in San Diego every year. And they do have a couple of online ones as well. This one is their big one. It's in San Diego, but it's a small, intentionally small conference. About 200 people or so attend. Lots of designers, lots of new games with games that are upcoming. And Harold Buchanan and his staff do an amazing amount of incredible work putting this together. If you're thinking on checking out a historical board gaming conference, and I know a lot of people post comments on videos, right? They say, I wish I had someone to play with. This is how you find someone to play with, because you go there, people are so friendly. You're going to play games for 3-4 days and you're going to make friends. And then when you come back, you can play these people on Vassal or on Rally the Troops, and it starts that whole community of board gaming going. So I cannot recommend going to a historical board gaming conference more highly than this. This one's fantastic. So I'm babbling on, but I was there for almost 3 full days, played a ton of games, and let's talk about what I played. So first up, on the first morning, played Atlantic Chase. So Jerry White was there with Pacific Chase, and he was holding an event with 8 people, but I was so busy before I left that I forgot to sign up for events. So by the time I looked, that one was full, so I didn't get into Pacific Chase, but Atlantic Chase was open. So I got a chance to play Atlantic Chase with James for the first time. We played the Bismarck scenario. I hate to say that a war game scenario is hilarious, but it really was. I think between the two of us, it's probably the worst dice rolling I've ever seen in a war game. You have to roll like 7s and above or 8s and above to succeed a lot. And I think we had 12 consecutive rolls where with 2 dice, neither one of us rolled a 7 or higher. It was that bad. I don't know what was wrong with the Bismarck and the British fleet that morning, but neither one of us could find anybody or hit anybody. It was just a comedy of errors. But I really enjoyed that one. I cannot wait for Pacific Chase. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing to play. So it was a great start to the conference. In the afternoon, on Friday afternoon, I did, for the first time at a conference, I did a teach and play. So Harold Buchanan has been asking me for about 3 or 4 conferences now. He says, do a teach and play, do a teach and play. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I put the event in late, so we had a small number of people. We couldn't take a lot too because I didn't have many copies of the game. But we did a teach and play for Gettysburg, A Time for Heroes. It was really fun to do that, to not play and just teach people the game and then kind of guide them through the experience without, overdoing it and yet kind of just nudging them along in different directions. And we had a fantastic time playing Gettysburg, A Time for Heroes. I definitely want to do that again at a conference. That's one of my the contender for Game of the Year, I think, this year. I've really enjoyed Gettysburg, A Time for Heroes. In the evening, though, Patrick and Julius were there from VUCA Simulations. I got a chance to play Traces of Victory with Patrick. Absolutely fantastic. This one is so good. I like the Traces of Series, Traces of War, Traces of Hubris are the 2 that I've played before this. Traces of Victory, it's more compact. It's kind of a smaller map, everything's right in front of you. It still takes a while to play through. It's a 12-turn scenario. We played about, I was kind of relearning the system a little bit. I think we played about 3.5 hours, and we got, I'd say, a little bit over halfway through the big scenario, which they say is about a 6-hour scenario. So much fun playing Traces of Victory. I have a review copy. I've made an overview video for it. It's up on the channel, and I'll be doing some sort, I think, of an after-action report video for that one too. Really enjoyed that. So the conference was off to a great start on Friday. Saturday morning, I started out playing Common Sense, which is a rather a distant future. Maybe next year it'll get announced, and maybe by the end of 2026 it might go into production, I think with GMT Games. This is a Sam London design, and if you don't know Sam London now, you will know Sam London in 5 years, because I think he is one of the most creative and ingenious upcoming historical board game designers. He has Firefight Tactical coming out for GMT. He has Microverse coming out for GMT. Everything he does, it's just original, creative, and fresh. And I feel like there's a level of gameplay interest there that it just pulls you in. Such interesting decision matrices. Anyway, I played Common Sense with Margaret, and this is a sandbox game of the American Revolution. So it can go a lot of different directions. You've got a lot of different levers to push and pull to try to win the revolution, either as the United States or the revolutionaries or the British forces. A lot of fun playing this one. I mean, it took me a while to grasp it. I was a little bit slow that morning because of a dinner event the night before, but it was really fun to play. I'm excited about this game, and I like hypothetical games that can take you in a lot of different directions, and games that allow you to explore alternative lines of history. This does that with the American Revolution. So very, very fun game. Playable probably in about 2 hours, I would guess. And then in the afternoon, I had my copy of Brett Walda with me. And so we set up a 4-player game of Brett Walda. And I decided to also kind of guide that one as well, because I hadn't played it yet. And so it was a learning game, playing game, but we found 4 people that could play. And so I thought it would be better if I sat out and just then I could look up the rules and we could keep the game moving. Really fun game. It took us a while to play, but it was a learning game. I think you could eventually get it down to a full 4-player game in about 3 hours. That would be my guess. I mean, there's some early win conditions that might end it early, but if you end up playing all 12 turns. 796, you play one of 4 factions in Britain trying to become Brett Walda, the king literally of the British Empire, of Britain itself in 796. Lots of fun gameplay, really interesting. I'm going to be creating a couple of gameplay videos for that one very soon. It'll be the next project that I do after this one. So that was a fun way to do the afternoon. That trickled over into the evening, then went out to dinner and called it a day that day. Sunday was a big one. Volko Runke was running a teach and play of his game Draken. So we played a full long scenario of Draken on Sunday morning. I got to learn the game, learn how it works. And if you're not familiar with this is part of his Recon series. It's a series of games, I think, that really takes a very innovative and fresh look at limited knowledge and what you don't know and what you know about your enemy, and how these forces are having this tug of war to try to get information that's going to allow them to make the right decisions to win the battles that are going to be fought. And so this happens in Verdun in World War I. In the trenches, you're trying to send across raids and planes and fire artillery and maneuver your troops around so you can hide your own information from the enemy, discover where the enemy is, and try to figure out what they're going to do. And so it's very much the focus of the game is on the action before the action. All of the subtle gestures where you're trying to figure out what your enemy's doing. Really fascinating game. I think it's a game I have to play more than once in order to really play it. It was kind of wrapping my head around it. I was playing it the first time, but I have really high hopes, and I'm really interested in looking forward to Draken. The afternoon, I had to head off to the airplane a little bit after a lunch meeting, but did get to play another Sam London game, which is Tank Duel, Sam London style. Now, everybody, you might know the GMT Tank Duel game, which is a longer, more elaborate game of Tank Duel. Sam has created a prototype of a Tank Duel version that plays in about 15 minutes. Card-based, really fun. We played a 2 versus 2, so 4-person Tank Duel game. It took us about 15-20 minutes. I had a Tiger Tank, which I recommend. It's really fun. As long as you don't bog it down, the Tiger Tank is pretty cool to fire in this game. A lot of fun playing that game. I'm trying to think. I haven't played that many war games that play that quickly and have interesting decision spaces. A lot of times when you think of a war game, you think it's going to be at least an hour. This is 15 minutes and it's a war game. Really well done. I'm looking forward to that one. That's probably farther off in the pipeline. So there is the SDHistCon report of things I played in the month. Had a marvelous time. Thanks again to everybody who helped out with the event. It was absolutely fantastic. Seeing people, talking with people, chatting with people. I mean, the games you play is one thing, but it's also fun just to have fantastic conversations with just so many people that are there. So a wonderful time. I had the best of times. I'm looking forward to it again next year. The next conference I'm signed up for, although I might squeeze one in between now and then, is Circle DC in Washington, D.C., put on by Fort Circle Games. Very much the same type, I think, of vibe and atmosphere as SDHistCon. If SDHistCon is probably 2/3 historical games and maybe 1/3 other games, I'd say Circle DC is probably half and half. So it's slightly less of a historical board game edge to it, but still tons of historical board gaming going on there too. Highly recommend it. You should go to a conference if you're looking to make friends to play games with. By all means, it's the way to get started. So go. But that's not all I played in the months of October and through the earlier half of November. I'll try to keep this a little bit short. I'm going to just abbreviate this with a few of the highlights, and we'll talk more about some of the other ones as we go forward. Combat Commander. I played Combat Commander with Dave, who runs the blog Dude Take Your Turn. You should check out his blog. I'll put a link to it down below. He's really good at Combat Commander, and he did kind of a teach and play on Vassal with me. So I'm getting there with Combat Commander. I like it. It's good. And this Saturday in the Twin Cities, there's a Combat Commander teach and play event, and a few of us are going to go to that. So I'm going to play more Combat Commander. I'll be on that Combat Commander ladder in no time. I love the tactical sense of it, how accessible it is for a tactical game. So I'm enjoying Combat Commander. We're getting there. Progress. One other game I've been playing over the past month now is Paths of Glory. So on the Patreon Discord, we are selecting a game of the month. We're just going to try to play it together, asynchronously, maybe some synchronous games too. And Paths of Glory is the November game of the month on the Discord. And I've got 7 games going now. I'm so bad at Paths of Glory. To be fair, I think the people I'm playing have played a little bit more than me. I kind of thought it was a learning game, and by learning, I'm like, I'll read the rules as I'm playing. But wow, I fell behind early. Here's a picture of one of my games as the Allied powers. This is me as Russia. This is Patrick as the Germans. So if you're going to play Paths of Glory, here's a tip. Read the supply rules. Just saying. It turns out they're very helpful. Supply, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Turns out it is in Paths of Glory. Anyway, I'm loving the games despite the fact that I'm losing every one of the 7 world wars I'm currently fighting. And it's like so much that I'm reading A World Undone, the book about World War I. So I am really learning a lot about World War I and getting into this game. Paths of Glory is fantastic. I really like it. British Tank Ace. I've been playing more British Tank Ace. We're in a Matilda tank now. We are kicking butt in our Matilda tank, so that's really good. Upstairs on my upstairs game table is Gettysburg, The First Day from Revolution Games, designed by Steve Carey. I am getting into the Blind Sword series now. Finally, I'm really digging into it. I mean, I've dabbled in it a little bit over the past year or so, but now I'm there. So I've got the rules down. I'm playing Gettysburg The First Day. I love this system, and I love Gettysburg First Day. I'm just beginning. I'm playing still the first scenario. I'm playing now a second time, so I'm learning the rules, getting fresh at the rules, and playing the game deeper with this. I'm really excited to explore this system more. Fantastic game. So that's good too. Wes Crawford was here. He's one of the 2 owners from Wharf Rat Games. And so Mike and then John, Wolfdog, and I got together with him while he was here, and we played 2 games. We played a prototype I have of Hood, Troubles in Sherwood from Phalanx, which I just made a kind of a faction overview and gameplay demo for. It's coming to Kickstarter in like a week or 2. I really like this game. So I like Root, but I feel like Root takes a while to play into and to understand how all the different factions work. Hood has very much a Root type feel to it, and somewhat of a coin type feel to it. So I think it would be good for introducing people to coin games. 4 asymmetrical factions, each one's doing something slightly different, and you have a different theme, if you would, for each side. But it's more accessible than Root, and it's more accessible than a coin game. And not that Root isn't great, and Root's fantastic, and coin games are fantastic. This is fantastic in a slightly different way. I really like it. I would recommend, if you like Root, and if you're interested in coin games and you have people you want to try to introduce these games to, you might want to check out Hood as being a tool for that. It's got real fresh gameplay and it's fun. largely because you understand the theme right away, right? Robin Hood, Sheriff of Nottingham. You get it. You know what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, that was fun. And then he has a prototype of a new Herman Luttmann game, A Forlorn Hope, which is trench rushing in basically attacks, full off over the trench as you go, attack in World War I. And you have 3 different sections. You're trying to lead them forward and reach the enemy trenches. Fun game, plays fast. Probably took us about an hour, maybe not even that, to play. And we were playing a prototype version. Wolfdog and I played it with Wes helping us through the Solitaire version. Exciting game, nice playable war game that's going to play in under an hour. Fun decisions and some dice rolls and events. It can go crazy. It tells a good narrative. So I liked Forlorn Hope. So there we have it. Stuff I've played over the last 6 weeks or so. There are more things I played, but that's, I think, the highlight condensed form because I don't want to make this part of the video. It's 20 minutes in its own right. So lots of stuff played. It's been a really good month of historical board gaming for the past 6 weeks. As always with the monthly update, I'd like to take a brief moment to thank everybody who supports the channel in so many different ways, whether it's you click on the subscribe button, hint, hint, or you click on the thumbs up button on a video, hint, hint, or you leave a comment on a video as well. This is, the community's been such a fun part of the journey. So thank you to everybody who does those little things that helps things be better. And in particular, thank you to all the people who are members of the Patreon and have provided donations and support to the channel over the past year and who continue to do so. A bunch of new Patreon members that I want to mention in this update, so I'll go ahead and read these out because there are too many to memorize. Howard Mergelkamp, Greg M., David Wetzel, Dr. P., Fritz Bonner, Jim Dosty, Duncan Ray, Chris Salander, Carl Foster, and Daniel McLean. Thank you to the new paid Patreon members. And we also have, in addition, if you are a paid Patreon member, we have our Patreon Discord. We have our Game of the Month, which is moving along, but there's probably about 20, 25 people there. We generally have a handful of asynchronous games going on Board Game Arena or Rally the Troops, and a lot of interesting conversations. So if you are a paid Patreon member, that's there for you. Also, about a little while ago, I opened up YouTube channel memberships. YouTube takes a lot of the money, but I realize that Patreon isn't for everybody. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and want nothing to do with Patreon, I opened up YouTube memberships, and Doug Lewis has joined that. So thank you, our first YouTube membership member. So that is there. Also, super thanks is donations on individual videos. BT Larkin, Alex Ann 07, and then Alan Vanoy. Thank you for your contributions over the past month via that channel. And lastly, I have Ko-Fi, which is Ko-Fi, which is a one-time thing, super easy to do. Deadbeat Ascendant, the interestingly named contribution. Thank you for your donation there. So again, thank you to all the people who make this more possible to do and help me to make more videos. Appreciate it, and thank you. Time for what's new in the house. There are a number of, about a handful of review copies to look through that have come in the house. This will be stuff that'll come up on the channel in the next month or so. And so let's go through these. A bunch of exciting things to consider. We'll start with one that arrived just a few hours ago. This is Rising Dragon, platoon level combat in the invasion of Taiwan. This is from Flying Pig Games. This is a prototype. This one's crowdfunding right now, so I'll put a link to it down below in the video, and I'll be making some content on this one very quickly. You may know Armageddon War from Flying Pig Games. Armageddon War is a modern level combat game that has a cult following, if you would. There are people absolutely love the game. This is based on the invasion of Taiwan, and it's set for about 10 years in the future, 2035. So platoon level tactical combat set in Taiwan in the future. So I'm very excited to take a look at this one. It is on crowdfunding now, and the crowdfunding has done amazingly well. So it's been off to a great success. I'll put a link again down below that too if you want to check it out. But there'll be some video content coming up on the channel on that one very soon. Two things in from Legion Wargames. The first I have done an overview video for already, which is Miracle at Dunkirk. This is a Solitaire game by Herman Luttmann on you play as the British forces and the French forces at Dunkirk, trying to save as many troops as you can from the German onslaught in the invasion of France in 1940. So that one looks really fun. And then they have also released Werewolf, Insurgency in Occupied Germany, set in 1945 to 1948. Very much a coin feel to this one. So you've got 4 factions. You've got Soviets, the Allies, a kind of one of the two German factions, one of which is anti-Nazi, one of which is pro-Nazi, fighting over control of Germany in post-World War II. Looks like it's a very accessible coin game, a very interesting topic, so I look forward to digging into that one as well. 3 things here from VUCA Simulations. First up, this might be the boldest, most ambitious design I've seen in quite a while, and it weighs a ton. It's a solid mass of material. Imperial Elegy 1850 to 1920. So it's up to 6 players. The full game can take, I think, 8 to 10 hours. There is a Great War game that's 1 to 3 hours, but up to 6 players. And there is a strong, apparently a functional, if not strong, solitaire mode to the game as well. You play from 1850 to 1920. World War I might happen early, it might happen late, it might not happen at all. The powers and factions basically trying to create Europe and throughout this 70-year time period. There's political dealings, military units on the map. It's such... I mean, when you think about the scope of a board game design to handle all of the different circumstances and events and conditions that could surround this wide path of history, incredibly interesting design. I look forward to exploring that one. Also from VUCA Simulations, Modern Tactics. Now, why am I so excited about this one as well? Well, I started playing Old School Tactical, which is a Flying Pig game system, World War II tactical combat. It might be the most accessible, the perfect sweet spot, I think, between tactical combat and complexity. Just such an immediately playable and fun game where you're right into making the decisions. Okay, so why is that important? So Shane Logan is the designer of Old School Tactical. This is Shane Logan's game. He takes it to Modern Tactics set in Afghanistan, same scale based on the Old School Tactical system. And now you're tossing in VUCA Simulations design expertise to it as well. This looks really good. And if you've played Old School Tactical, this is based on that same system. So you'll immediately probably be, I'd say, I feel like I'm 3/4 of the way there to understanding how this plays. Obviously, modern combat as opposed to World War II, there's different things, like you had helicopters and stuff like that, which you're not dealing with in World War II. But looks like an incredibly fun tactical system. And I'm quite encouraged by the name here, right? Modern Tactics Afghanistan, which makes me think, okay, you're with me here, right? Modern Tactics, what's next, right? One can hope already. Let's not get greedy, but one can hope. And I mentioned this one before, Traces of Victory. So excited for this one. This was such, I love that Traces of system. And this one, the one mapper, it feels a little bit more contained. It could be my favorite in the series. West Front, so much goodness there with this one too. When I first started making board wargaming videos, I made a series with Sherman Leader, and DVG has sent along one of their new ones, Eagle Leader. So I made an overview video of it. I've got everything punched and everything sorted, and I'm ready to do a mini campaign. And I think what I'll probably do is one of their shorter campaigns for a video series on this. It's going to be fun to get back to Eagle. It's going to be fun to get back to a Leader series. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I've heard a lot of people say that like Hornet Leader, modern air combat leader games are quite... they're different than the one I've played, Sherman Leader and some of the other ones I've played. They're a little bit different, and this one is looks really good. So I'm excited to dig into Eagle Leader. This one, I had a prototype for this one quite a while ago and made an overview video for it. 1920 Nest of Eagles from Phalanx. This covers the Polish-Soviet War in 1920. So quite the design, and this is really sharp design now too. This one also just arrived, so it's still in its shrink. That's how quickly it's came here. 90 to 720 minutes, so a quite a deep Hex Encounters game covering, which is always good to see, a conflict that isn't the normal overproduced or overcovered conflict. So really good to see this one out here. Very interested to check this one out too. Also from Phalanx, a very civil whist designed by Fred Serval. This is a trick-taking game set in the context of the English Civil War. So one player plays the Parliament, one player plays royalty, and you're trying to take tricks to increase your chances of winning the game. One of the things that I think is interesting about this is that it has a 30 to 45 minute playtime, and I am constantly on the lookout for war games that are engaging and take less than an hour. So I'm excited to check this one out. I know I have 3 or 4 people in mind who aren't war gamers that I think I can get to play this one too. So I'm interested to see how it works with them for that. One of my P500 orders also came in recently, Combat Commander 20th Anniversary Edition. This is both the Europe version and the Mediterranean expansion in one volume for the 20th anniversary of Combat Commander. So now that I've played online, and again, I mentioned this event that's coming up on Saturday, I'm excited to have this version because this one also allows you to get the expansions, which open up a whole new range of play. But before I get carried away with the expansions, I want to focus in and play on this a little bit as well. Two books in the house that I think people might be interested in. The first is A Bridge Too Far. So this is a choose your own adventure game from Phalanx where you play in the Polish 1st Parachute Brigade in Market Garden. You start as basically you're an individual soldier, but based on what the rules say, you're going to have dice and kind of skills. You have will and then mental and then physical, that roughly those 3 attributes that you use. Dice-based combat, you have 8 hit points as you start the game with. You can combine with other soldiers to make pairs or smaller groups of soldiers, and you might even end up being in kind of a squad level engagement at that. So it does sound like it can go a lot of different ways. Very interested to give this one a try. It's about 200 pages. Takes me back a lot to those old choose your own adventure games, which I really like. So this looks like a fun little mini adventure to check out. And a second book in the house is the fascinatingly named World War II Wargaming Solitaire Toolkit. This is written by John Black, 160 so pages. Looks self-published, but excellent publishing and excellent binding. So it's a really good job on the self-publishing. This is hard to do justice with just a brief explanation, but it's set at the tactical level. I think this will work very well with ASL or Advanced Squad Leader or any other tactical combat game or system. There's about 20 chapters or so, and each chapter does a slightly different thing. Some of them are building up force pool. So if you want to create just a random engagement for your solitaire game, this will help guide you through. There'll be a couple chapters that help guide you through that process. There's one in here that has events. So just random tactical events that could happen in your game. So you're going to roll a die and add this to the solitaire game that you're playing. It has order guidance. So what a troop might be doing in a particular engagement that you're facing. Unit composition and force composition, a lot of content on that. And there's also guidance for creating a campaign for solitaire tactical combat games as well. I'm going to create some content on this at some point in the future, but it looks like a fascinating system that might give you a lot of really good ideas to play if you're using a tactical combat system and using it solo to increase the level of engagement and fun as you're doing that. I'll put a link to this. It's up on Amazon. I'll put a link to it down below if you want to check it out. And there we have it, new and in the house over the past 6 weeks. So it's time to transition into, I'll lower my voice for this, wargaming deep thoughts. About a month ago, not quite that, a few weeks ago, I put up a video called Avalon Hill Top 10. It was the top 10 games on my top 10 Avalon games that I played kind of as I cut my teeth and got into wargaming a long time ago. And the video was quite popular. And a lot of people, what was really interesting for me too, is people posting in the comments similar experiences that I had. Just there's a whole community of wargamers out there that grew up on these Avalon Hill games. We played them dozens and dozens of times. People play through games much faster now. There's just so many out there. But back then you had a limited set, right? And you would just play the game over and over and over again. And just people sharing the friendships that formed, the memories they have with people that they played these games with as they were growing up or in the younger years, in the years back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s as people were enjoying these games and finding their way into this hobby. So it was fascinating to read all these stories. So thank you to everybody who shared them. The comments got so fast that there are dozens and dozens that I haven't replied to yet, but I've read them all, and it's just been an amazing addition, I think, to that video. So if you've watched that video, it's interesting to go back and look at all the cool comments that people have put up there. A couple of thoughts on that. There's also a lot of us that are in this age group. Let's just put it at that. So if you're in that age group, you're not alone on this channel. That's another thing to realize too. A number of people posting comments saying, why wasn't this game here or why wasn't that game here? And I thought I would just touch on that a little bit. Most of the time when that happened, it was a game that I didn't play. I didn't have. Right? So war games back then for me were a big purchase. It was, and war games, if you look at the price and you factor in inflation, they're roughly the same now as they were back then. In terms of real dollars, right? But back then, those purchases were a big thing for me. I had to think about it. So I didn't get them all. So things like the Russian campaign, I know the Russian campaign would have been in my top 10 had I picked that one up. Kingmaker was an interesting one. I didn't have a group that would play war games. So anything that went beyond 2 players, I didn't really consider. I had usually one or maybe two friends that we would play two-player a lot, but I didn't have a larger group or access to a larger group that could do that. So I kind of discounted things like Diplomacy, right? Kingmaker, that to me seemed they were going to be much better with larger groups. I didn't have that. So those were ones that I didn't play growing up. The interesting one that struck me was how many people mentioned Flat Top as one of their favorite games. And people mentioned it, I looked at it, and I thought, wow, that's going to be a really hard game for me to get to the table. So I'm not sure I want to pick up a copy and explore it now. But so many people mentioning that game and having some amazing memories tied to it. It looks fascinating. I don't know how it would be playable now, but I'm tempted to kind of go down that route and explore it a little bit. But to get to I put up a survey. As people were posting these comments, it got me thinking, would it be interesting to make an SPI video similar to that, my top 10 SPI games growing up? That's a little different, right? Because SPI had the magazine, so they were just producing a lot more games as they were into this. So Avalon Hills didn't produce that many comparatively to SPI. Once SPI started coming, there were so many games that you could get. So I asked people, and I said, regarding Avalon Hill Games and Simulation Publications Incorporated, SPI games, I'm curious, which statement best matches you? I played Avalon Hill Games exclusively or a lot more than SPI games. Or the flip of that, I played SPI games exclusively or a lot more than Avalon Hill Games. I played games from both companies about the same, or I didn't really play games from either company. Now, about almost 900 people have replied to the survey. The results are interesting. Take a second to think what you think they're going to look at. To a degree, this reflected what I thought it would be, but I didn't think the margin would be quite so great. And I didn't think, let me just show you the answers. Okay, so if you want to think about it, think about the answers and pause the video, but here's what they are. So 48% of people saying, I played Avalon Hill games exclusively or a lot more than SPI games. Now, I kind of anticipated that, right? I figured, it seems like Avalon Hill had better marketing. They were there first. A lot more people seem to go from Avalon Hill to SPI and not the other way around, right? SPI was something you found after you found Avalon Hill because they were less likely to be in stores, perhaps, or just different marketing. They came along later and stuff. The second one, I played SPI games exclusively or a lot more than Avalon Hill games, only 6%, which was interesting to me. I thought that might be higher. I thought it would be like 3-to-1 ratio. So, for every 3 Avalon Hill players, there would probably be 1 SPI player. But this one was rather interesting too. I played games from both companies about the same, 32%. So, that's quite a bit. And so that makes me think it would be of interest to people if I did an SPI video, although it would be harder for me to make because I didn't play, of the whole set of SPI games, I played a much smaller subset. But I could just make my list and throw it up there and let people, we can talk about it too. The other one, the last one here is interesting though too. I didn't really play games from either company, 14%. The viewership on this channel tends to be older. It's 30s, 40s and up. But the 14% number struck me as very interesting. I suppose people were playing Avalon Hill games maybe 30 years ago, so that kind of makes sense, I guess. But I thought that number would be bigger too. And again, that could be people just answering the survey too. It's not, people could say, I don't even know what these game companies are, so they just ignore it. So maybe the 14% is actually much higher by the nature of the way the question's getting asked. But let me know what you think of that survey. Do those results surprise you, or what do you think? Got a couple of other deep thoughts topics, but what I played over the past 6 weeks was so long because we had SDHistCon. I'm going to save that. I'm going to save the ASL update, the Empire of the Sun update, the Wargaming in Every State update. I'll bring those in next time, so I'm going to kind of abbreviate these other sections for this one. But it's time for us now to give away stuff. So let's go give away our $50 store gift certificate to Noble Knight Games. So we will pick a winner at random now for our $50 store gift certificate to Noble Knight Games from all the people who entered into the treasure hunt contest that was on the previous upcoming Wargames video. This is how you get it. I usually put the contest or the drawing entry process into the upcoming Wargames video. So another one will be coming up in a couple of weeks as we do the next upcoming Wargames video. But we had about 174 people that entered into the contest. I will pick a name now. Hold on to your horses though, right? Because I'm going to pick the name. Then I have to go check to see if they got all the questions right. Not everybody got all the questions right. So good luck to everybody. We'll pick our first contestant. Then we'll check the verification here. It is KD Dad 63. Let's go see if KD Dad has all his answers correct. Happy to say that KDD Dad was 5 for 5. He got all of his answers correct. He is our winner of the $50 store gift certificate to Noble Knight Games. I'll be reaching out to the email address that you entered into the contest. Thanks to everybody who entered and for playing. And if you didn't win this time, good luck the next time. There'll be another one coming up soon on the next upcoming Wargames video. And with that, we've frittered away another half hour talking about games and board games and war games and historical games. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I look forward to reading your comments down below. Check out the Noble Knight Game sale if you're looking for some good deals there. And I'm looking forward to making a ton of new content in the last month and a half of the year here. So look for more videos on the channel. As always, thanks for all your support. Take care. Bye.